Hello everybody and welcome back to the new Mindscape. In this video I'm going to talk about another aspect of the integrative forces in the religious response to the crisis of religion. I'm going to talk about the Interfaith Movement. Let me just start by telling about some of my trips to Israel. I've been to Israel a number of times, and several times I've been to Jerusalem, which is the most holy place in the world for Jews and Christians, and the third most holy place in the world for Muslims. So this is a highly sacred place for three of the world's largest religions. There's a place called the Western Wall in Jerusalem, where the temple of the Jews, their most holy sanctuary, was destroyed 2,000 years ago. The only thing that remains of the holy temple of the Jewish people is this wall. Jewish people from around the world come to this place and pray at this wall. It's the most important and holy spot in the world for the Jewish people. Right above the wall, on the Temple Mount, there's the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is one of the most holy shrines of the Muslim world. And if you walk for about 5 minutes, you'll find the Via Dolorosa, which is the path that Jesus walked down when he was bearing the cross. This path leads to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where the tomb of Jesus Christ is located. So this is one of the most holy places in the world for Christians. So all of these three sacred places, the Jewish, the Muslim, and the Christian sacred place, are only 5 to 10 minutes walk away from each other. All of these profoundly sacred locations for about 2/3 of the world's population are located in this one single spot. But regrettably, people are fighting for the control of this holy place. It's been extremely difficult to keep the peace between these different communities. And every now and then, violence flares between Jews and Muslims over access to the Temple Mount. Even in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Christian holy spot, different parts of the sanctuary belong to different sects of Christianity who have a very hard time cooperating for the upkeep and maintenance of the holy site. For me, it's amazing that people are fighting over Jerusalem because they actually share the same holy space. I think they shouldn't fight over it. They should celebrate it. They should be happy that they have a common holy land. Jerusalem should be a place that brings people of different religions together. So it's really a question of, how do you see it? Do we celebrate the fact that we have something in common? Or are we going to emphasize and fight over what we have different? Everything depends on how we look at things. If people have a dualistic and exclusivist mental operating system, it becomes very easy for them to become angry and they want to fight against each other. But if we switch our operating system, the same thing becomes a cause of celebration, something that brings different people together. Nowadays, when religious animosity and violence are increasing in some parts of the world, it becomes profoundly important to learn about different religions, spiritual traditions, and approaches to understanding different types of spirituality, and to appreciate what they have in common. So many people in the world only know one way of being religious. It's because of ignorance and prejudice that we find hatred and violence in the world based on religion. But many people and movements are trying to promote interreligious and interfaith understanding. The modern Interfaith Movement started in 1893, when the first interfaith and interreligious dialogue in the modern sense took place at the World's Fair in Chicago, in a gathering called the World's Parliament of Religions. For the first time, religious leaders and representatives from everywhere in the world were invited to Chicago to share their ideas with each other. This marked the birth of the Interfaith Movement. People of different religions tried to overcome their prejudices and conflicts and to engage in a peaceful dialogue to increase their mutual understanding. The Parliament of World's Religions was revived in 1993, and it's held in a different city in the world every few years. Typically, several thousand delegates from around the world attend, representing hundreds of different religious traditions and sects. Hundreds of small-scale interfaith events are also arranged around the world every year. Other than interfaith events, many scholars, authors, and artists are also trying to foster understanding between different religions. So, for example, if you look at the religion section of any bookshop around the world, you'll find many books authored by Karen Armstrong. She's a great author and she's written many books about religion. She's a former Catholic nun and later tried hard to enhance the mutual understanding between people of different religions. Between Christians and Muslims, there's been a lot of prejudice and hatred, but in the video clip that I suggest that you watch after, she emphasizes the compassion of the Prophet Muhammad. So while terrorist groups such as Al-Qaeda and ISIS, as well as Islamophobe anti-Muslim groups portray Muhammad as vengeful and bloodthirsty, Armstrong studied the life and teachings of the Prophet to emphasize that compassion was at the heart of Muhammad's teachings. This is an example of a woman from one religious tradition reaching over to other religious traditions, trying to find the value in the other religious tradition. Another example that I will link up to the video after this series is the American Muslim rapper Mo Sabri. In his music video, he testifies how, as a Muslim, he believes in Jesus Christ. In the Quran, the holy book of Islam, it's emphasized that Jesus is a prophet of God, just as Muhammad is. The rapper emphasizes that as a Muslim, believing in Jesus is very important for him. He tried to break down the barriers that exist between people of different religious communities. And a final example that I'll show right after this video is a very interesting interfaith dialogue between a Muslim Imam, a Christian pastor, and a Jewish rabbi. In this TED Talk, they joke about their differences and emphasize the common spirit that brings them together as members of different religious traditions.